Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your boy, Queen. Coming at you guys with a very, very spicy deck profile featuring OP12 here on the channel, let alone a leader in which nobody remembers, nobody plays, but he's not forgotten. He just hasn't gotten the best support as of late, let's be fair. But coming out of OP12, we have gained access to a brand new 6-drop named Kuma, which allows Queen to heal and allows him to use his leader ability for that turn if you guys are in that state in which you guys can heal off of his Queen's skill, which is kind of nice. On top of that, when this card is KO'd or removed from the board outside of bottom decking effects, he gets to also heal you again, which is really, really good. Now, everything else here in this list is typically going to be, one of what Queen likes to do, right? We're going to be running around with Yamato, Sanji, and then Katakuri here, just because these are some very, very strong cards in the current metagame. Unfortunately, Yellow, on the other hand, is one of those decks that are currently on the lower tier out of everything else in the format. So we don't have a whole lot of options here, especially if you're not playing big, if you're not Big Mom, right? So we're utilizing Katakuri, Yamato, something that Queen likes to do, being able to have that one Dawn that you can float over after you play down Yamato or Katakuri to swing with to use your leader ability. This is why we don't use 10 cost characters here in Queen, which I guess you could, you know what I mean, but most of the time you really don't, because we don't have access to things like Enel or things like the 10-drop Linlin. Ace, if you don't have the Veggie on board, you can't enable your leader skill. So you have to be a little bit mindful of when you're deciding to use 9, 10 cost, 8 cost characters inside a Queen deck. We do have access to, however, the new Doflamingo that comes out in OP12. I have not thoroughly tested this just yet. I'm kind of set on deck lists like this that are utilizing the Katakuri because I can remove things like the Sanji Pudding, and I can remove 8 cost Eustace Kids, the 7-drop Laws with the Katakuri. Whereas this I cannot. It's just an 8 cost that has Rush, and if my opponent decides to KO it, then I get the heal, you know what I mean? Whereas with 8 cost Katakuri, I can play this down, put a Boa and or a Brule on top of my life, and do shenanigans. The other benefit is the 7-drop Mom. I'm trying to work around here in this list, but I want to use Kuma more so than this, and this seems to get a lot more value, and it does have that 1K counter to it. So I decided to cut up my 7 Mom for my typical Queen builds to fit in Kuma, which does really, really well here. The removal package here with Queen, it's not great. And it's not that the cards aren't good. All these are really, really good. I just think the meta now has shifted. And every single green deck has a way of protecting the bodies on board. Every yellow deck has a way of protecting the bodies on board. And it feels like once they get down that Tashigi, or they get down that, what is that green guy? We got a new green card for Zoro. This on board, for example, like, you can't KO things. So I can't drop a 2-cost Zeus to pop something if this is on board. I can't play down a 5-cost Nami if that's on board. You know what I mean? It's just like, they have a lot of anti-removal cards now in a lot of decks, in which I feel like board removal in general for blue just seems a little bit weaker. Especially things like Gravity Blade. This used to be really good against aggro decks or decks that go wide. Nowadays, you don't even survive that long. And then when you do, and you have an opportune moment to use it, you're probably dead next turn. So, because Rayleigh exists now. Bello Betty's out there. Cards like this just don't seem to have that much value anymore. That's just a hot take. Anyway, our 5-drop slot in this deck is kind of flexible. If you notice, we're only utilizing the 5-drop Nami here, right? And I feel like this is a hit or miss, and I will be playing with a different variation of Queen here today, as well as this build, and I'll let you guys know when we swap decks. But I feel like this doesn't help for what I want it to do. A lot of the times, you get to see cards, right? You get to draw 3 and then rearrange stuff. Cool. But if you have things like Yamato, or sorry, Sanji and Yamato in life, you can't really just play Nami down draw 3. Let's say you draw Sanji and Yamato. Well, now you can put 2 back. Okay? So when you do this, you either put Yamato and then put Sanji. That way you draw into the Sanji and then you can play down the Yamato, for example. But if you don't have the Dawn to attach to the Queen, you can't even get off the effect to heal off of this. It's a weird mechanic here with the Nami here in this list. So I think personally, I have already cut it in my second iteration. And we're going to go back and play around with X-Drake or the 3-cost Doflamingo, because that's another one that we are missing here in this particular list. Just because it helps you set up cards for later to make this a little bit more valuable. And I feel like that first search when you're setting up your life, or sorry, setting up your deck, is just so important. Instead of just playing down Nami to draw extra cards. But hey, each their own. But either way, we're going to dive into a bunch of games today and see what we can cook up here. See you guys in a split second. I almost forgot to show you guys version 2 of Queen, in which we will be playing today as well, just a little bit here and there. Now this variation, we have dropped some cards to make this work. We have gotten rid of the 5-cost Namis, not because they're bad, but I already gave you my opinion on these. I don't think it's necessarily a Queen card, but it's still very, very good. Now, if we had other ways of setting up this deck, this is not a Luffy variation. This is not, you know, purple blue Luffy where he is able to just reorganize the top 5 each and every turn at late game. This is very much suited for that deck. Queen, on the other hand, it's a little bit harder to utilize this unless you guys have set up in the meantime prior to your late game. This is why I think the Doflamingo is still going to be needed here in this Queen variation in general. But I also was utilizing X-Drake a while ago, and this might be something I might try to go back into. I haven't decided yet, but this is still one of my favorite lists here to play around with. And I do hope you guys are going to enjoy it and have a good time. We did remove Gravity Blade, we did remove 3000 Worlds. I just feel the metagame is a little bit harder to utilize these cards here in Queen when you need to have specific bodies on board at curves, you know what I mean? So, being able to do that and not be able to play down a body on board by just going for removal, it hurts this deck quite a bit in the metagame. Now, Gravity Blade, on the other hand, I also took that out because it's quite expensive, and with the Tashigis and the Supernova Veggies running around, it's very hard to remove bodies on board in general, especially in this list. When you want to be playing down a Kuma or a Big Mom or a Big Body on that turn instead of Gravity Blade. But hey, each their own. I could be wrong. That's just my take on playing Queen over the year. Or, yeah, for the past year or so. Now, there is another card here that I do want to talk about, but we'll get into it at the end of the video. I forget his name, but he's like a 2-cost blocker of some sort, but we'll dive back into it at the end of the video. I'll see you guys in a split second. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Come at you guys with Queen playing into Rosinante here in OP12. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying this, just like I did in my King video. Do be aware, Queen is not top tier by any means. It's been a long time since Queen has even been played. And we're talking about like back in OP04-ish era. We had that weird phase where Mono Blue Crocodile was very, very strong. Queen was hanging around there, doing some things. Not a whole lot, but since then, Queen has kind of been like under a rock, okay? So I don't expect a lot of people to understand what Queen does or how the ins and outs of the deck work or the caveats, any of that. So today, we're going to be playing a bunch of games as we always do, and I'm going to try to, step by step, talk about the deck, my list, and how I go about my matches with a little bit more talking. And I don't expect this video to be super long, because I hope it's not going to be super long, because we're playing a control deck, so kind of like King, these matchups tend to drag on for a little while. So if you guys are interested in playing Queen, tune in, enjoy yourselves, let's get into it. Now, I totally forgot. I already totally forgot what we just organized. Anyway, we're off to a good start. But what I wanted to try to do in today's video is try to feature decks in which I don't get to see. Of course, we're diving into OP12, so I'm looking for deck lists and leaders that are just specifically for OP12. Because you also got to keep in mind this sim is also mixing up the new Newgate structure deck, the PRB2, and OP12. So a lot of these cards you won't even have access to on August 22nd when OP12 comes out. So you still will be playing against other players that are utilizing cards that haven't even come out yet. So I mean, you're playtesting against decks that you can't really navigate, you know what I mean? Because that format doesn't exist yet over here, but each their own. Now, Queen isn't really a deck that gets better right now, but he doesn't get worse. He gets better in a sense that he gets better playable cards or top end like Kuma, but it doesn't really put him any higher in the tier list or in the meta than he already was. Because we have to play against decks like both Luffy variations, or sorry, all three Luffy variations. Then you have Blackbeard, who's pretty strong here, Jewelry Bonnie, Smoker, very terrifying. And they all have access to anti-removal cards. They all have access to going wide early. Big boards. Queen can't really deal with that, and that hasn't changed. Again, we have access to Gravity Blade, but I've already told you, and you should already know, with Tashigi, with Beji, it's a little bit harder for that effect to be effective. And then with other decks, their characters that they play down right now on board, like Luffy's for example, are way too high for Queen to sustain those matchups and get value. Now, I digress. I very much love this leader, and I think a lot of people do as well. I miss playing him, I really, really do. Just because of the healing mechanics that this deck can do, and the strategies that you can come up with are a lot of fun. But so are these new leaders that they keep coming up with, like Rosinante here, Kuzan. Both of these deck lists, Ace comes out in OP13, like, a lot of these new leaders look so fun. And I'm super excited. But at the same time, older leaders like Queen kind of get power crept to a point where you are playing catch up. Like, you're lost and forgotten, people don't even know what you do anymore or have seen you, or it's very hard to compete against decks like that. Especially when we get a whole set geared to that specific leader, like Rayleigh, that's coming out. If you have seen the matchup or played into it, Rayleigh is, he's a struggle. Especially as Queen. It's like you're playing a slow deck, which relies on late game, against an aggro deck like Bello Betty, like Rayleigh. You're just not going to be able to coexist. So, it's very tough. But, he's still very fun. He is definitely one of those decks where you can take at locals and have a good time. More so than you're going to top every week, you know? But I do think this, like King, for example, can do a bit more because he is a black deck that has removal, in which removal will always be strong. Whereas blue doesn't have that cost reduction, which makes it a little bit more difficult to remove things on board. Whereas black can do that in multiple different multiple different intervals. A little bit easier, so. But we end up getting the Sanji down. We got the Nami following suit. We have two blockers on board. We got Teach off the draw. And speaking of Teach, I didn't talk about it in the very beginning here, but Teach, if you've noticed, unlike playing Teach and Nami, where you typically just utilize Teach just to get the Dawn attachment to her, whereas in Queen, we have only one use for Teach, and it's not because we want to be able to swing huge. It's because we need that Dawn attached to Queen in order to use his leader skill. Now, more often than not, we get Teach early game. It allows you to set up plays with Sanji later, right? The downside to this is, like this interaction, when I am on 9 Dawn, okay? Let's say I have Teach already on board, I'm at 9 Dawn. We play Sanji down. What happens? We didn't get the setup at all because we don't have any rested Dawn to play off the Teach. You see what I'm saying? The interaction is very good, but the setup takes a little bit longer to set up, if you will. So I do think that we need to drop the 5-cost Nami here and go back into Doflamingo, or go back into X-Drake, just to make sure we have other setup for later turns other than seeing Peruna. You know what I mean? Teach is still really good here, and I think I'm still going to keep at least 2 copies in the deck list, but I want to make sure we have that setup going into future Queen builds, just in general. I think you cannot play this leader without having cards to set up your turns, for the most part, you know? By the way, this deck is very hard to play against. No matter what I want to do here, I don't want to go for face and give him free cards, because he just gets to play down laws for free, or for cheaper, right? That's more bodies. And if you notice, we really only have 1 attacker on board, other than myself. So, he's got 3, and he can cheat out more, let alone he can play down the 7-cost law, I believe. The Supernova one, you know, the one that allows him to heal up, which makes this matchup even harder, so. And then he also gets unblockable with the event that he just utilized. And I didn't even know that card existed because, you know, I wasn't really looking out for Rosinante, but it's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good. Let's go ahead and go 8 into these laws again. See if we can remove both these bodies, or at least one of these bodies here. I do think his leader skill is really good to be able to say no and just take life and keep the body on board without the body on board losing any, like, negative effects, right? Which is pretty strong. I don't want to attack with Nami here, unfortunately. Because, again, he does have the unblockable, so. And if he's running the 8-cost Doflamingo or any other rush variants of big drops, this could be problematic here. That's 4 laws on board, 3 blockers. 4 blockers. No Gravity Blade in sight, which would be really good right now. This is also my first matchup ever into this deck list, or sorry, this deck in general, like Rosinante. So if you guys have seen this list or seen this deck and you're very excited for it, I'm also very excited for it, because out of all the decks that I have seen, he looks very interesting to play. Outside of Kuzan. I think Kuzan and Rosinante are probably like my top 2 for OP12, which is interesting. But if you've also been following my channel for a long time, you already know that I don't typically sit here and play meta decks all the time, so Zoro, he's there. Under the radar for me, but he's there. We'll go and guard here. I'm pretty sure we should be able to take this game very soon. I do have to clear board, and remember, we know that that was in our life here this time, which is nice. There's another Yamato here. So of course, we're going to go ahead and try to pop the 3-cost that's on board, which this will force him to take life or let it go. If he decides to protect it, we can attack into it, which he did. Because he only can use that effect once per turn, which is nice. So now we have options here with Teach. But if I do the Teach, we're just putting the Yamato back on top. And then we're going to put Yamato into life. Which isn't bad, realistically. And this might just get us to clear the body on board. Oh well. What are you going to do? Sometimes this happens to me quite a bit, where I know what card's going to go on top of my life. There's not really much control aspect there that I have, especially this late into the game. Sometimes you just gotta take it. Now, there are some plays in which we've already done so far with Kuma and Teach. Whereas when you play Kuma down, you get the heal and discard a card, which is really good. Kuma allows you to set up your hand and your life to be able to use your leader skill. So there are opportunities where you play Kuma down, you discard a card, now you have less cards in your hand to be able to use your skill. And then with Teach, you can go ahead and put a 0-cost event or a Beji on top of your deck, swing, and then put that card from top of your deck to your life, which is really strong. But it needs setup, you know? 5 here. I'll guard out with Nami. It's just free, I don't see why I wouldn't do it. Yeah, if he wants to go ahead and don up his laws and swing into my board, I'm okay with this, because Kuma will heal me. And we still have Yamato here. And I don't believe he has any ways of drawing extra cards in this deck list, but I could be wrong. I do like the Supernova. I think that's pretty cool. So I see the Cavendishes so far. I wonder if he's running other things to be able to utilize like the 7-drop Law Heal. So we're 9 to 9. Yep. That's fine. This just saves me from taking damage, right? I'm going to be able to heal next turn anyway. And then I heal off of this as well. Cool. Okay, alright. Well, good game. Ooh, we had a Veggie there too, another Kuma. We're gonna go ahead and play another game. I don't see why not. I'm kind of surprised my opponent decided to rematch me first. That typically doesn't happen. I normally have to axe. In any case, we're probably gonna play this matchup as many times as we can. I think this is one of those deck lists in which, again, we're not gonna see that often in OP12. Because I think people are gonna be playing Zoro. People are still gonna be playing Luffy variants until they get banned, you know? They're going to be playing the best decks going, if they can. Rosinante, on the other hand, he's a very cool leader, man. Very, very cool. Especially when you can also utilize Beppo pretty strongly. I think between him and Katakuri, they're both able to swing for 6k with not necessarily a downside. Because they can get the Dawn back, or cheat out other bodies a little bit easier than other decks, which is really, really neat. Especially with this Rosinante here. They -1 Dawn. They get an extra power boost from the Beppo, and they're also able to cheat out laws easier. And especially when it comes to Queen, being able to have so many bodies on board makes it very difficult for this deck to deal with. Now, in the metagame, he can go wide very, very fast. And everything he plays down is typically a blocker, which I'm sure there's going to be some ins and outs to this deck list. I'm sure you're going to see different variations to Rosinante. So I would assume this isn't going to be the only way that you can build it. And I think I'm going to look into it as well and see if I can cook up something and do a list here on the channel. He does look like a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and bottom deck this one real fast. I don't want to deal with that. Well, let's go 6 lead here. I don't want to use Teach's ability again. At least not so early. Because just like the Nami match, or sorry, the Nami deck, I feel like the Teach does just one thing. It's not necessarily putting the card on top of the deck, it's more so putting the Dawn on your leader so you can have the leader skill. And in Queen, it's very good if you have setup for Sanji. Until then, you don't necessarily want to use Teach's ability all the time, because you're basically just putting the card back on top of the deck. Which, in this deck list, you have to be counting the top cards. So if you set up with Perona or Doflamingo or X-Drake, you put them in a specific order for the turn. That way when you play down Sanji, he kicks something off of your deck on board. You know what I mean? So, it has its uses. I do think he's still really good here, and I think I will always have a copy or 2 of him in the deck. I think 2 to 3 for me at most, because I do want to see him. But I think I'm also going to go back and utilize the 3-drop Doflamingo and or the 5-cost X-Drake. And we'll probably play a bunch of games like I mentioned here with this list, and then I'll let you guys know when I tag in the other one. It's not going to, I guess, differ so much, but you will have different cards in it, just a few. Ooh, he's already going to play down the 7 Law. Interesting. I do like this card, by the way. I think he's really good here. I think he's running like a Supernova package. Because I saw Cavendishes and then we saw the 7-drop so far. I think that's the only cards that we have seen. Chopper. I have no idea if this is like the average Rosinante deck list or not, by the way. And I'm sure you guys don't either. But it's very interesting. The 7-drop Law, the purple one, I don't know how I feel about him. I will guard here. I feel like he's pretty good because you can cheat him out early. And he gives that extra 1000 power for the turn, which is really, really strong. But after that, he's just a base vanilla. Okay, what we got here? We're going to have to play down Nami. As much as I don't want to, but we haven't been drawing anything, and these are not good either. I'll place them on the bottom here. I'll get rid of a 0-cost event and a Kuma. In hindsight, we probably should get rid of the Gravity Blade, but he does play a lot of like little bodies on board that we can remove with it. So yeah, we'll get rid of the Kuma, and then I'll get rid of the 0-cost. We'll put those on bottom for now. I do want to keep the other one. That's why I decided not to throw away both Kumas. The 0 is okay. It is what it is on that note. Okay. So we have to try to go face here. We don't have enough Dawn or power to even pressure the 7-drop Law on board. Because he is a 10k right now. I think the most that we could do is attach everything to Kuma and then swing heavy into him, but you know what I mean? It's not the greatest play. Let's just do it this way then. Let's go 7 first. I'd rather just get cards out of hand if possible. Okay, there's the 2k. That's good to know. So he's running Sanji's as well. That's interesting. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's the normal, you know? Yeah, let's go 9 here. Let's just go 9. Can I get the blocker, please? Please, can I have the blocker? He's probably not gonna give it to me. Or he's thinking about it? Ooh, 0-cost event. Okay. We got 3 cards out of hand there. That's worth. But I wonder where he goes from here. So I'm not too sure what this deck runs for top end. Outside of this particular build is running the 7-drop Laws, right? So perhaps he also is utilizing the 8-cost Doflamingo, the one that has Rush, which is pretty good here. Cavendish. So that's Uruj, Cavendish, and then the 7-drop Law. So it's like a Doflamingo, or Don Quixote family and Supernova maybe? With the inclusion of Beppo, Chopper, and then they have the 2k Sanjis. So that's interesting. There's the Perona, which we saw you earlier. We're at the guard here. Well, actually, we can go to 0 on... No, he still has to swing with the Law, right? So we'll guard out with the Law on the Brule. Nice. That's not great. Hold up, I got a math. Because we have to be able to swing with with leader and heal. And we have quite a bit of cards in hand here. So our setup could be something like, if we play down Katakuri, what do we remove? I guess the 10-drop Law? Because that's a problem. You know what I mean? But then if we do that, we can't heal up. Because we play 8-cost Katakuri down, we have 7 cards in hand, we don't have enough to heal. So I think we're going to have to play Kuma. We drop the Kuma down, Kuma discards another card, okay? So we go from 7 to 5. Then we have 4 Dawn left, which gives us access to Perona, so we're going to play her here. And then we have 2-cost Teach in hand that we can utilize as well. These are not the greatest, but we do get some blockers here. And this is another reason why I want to use the 3-cost Doflamingo here, back in this package. Because at the late game, where we have moments like this, and we play down Kuma, if we can organize the top first with Dofi or Perona there, and then put like a blocker on top, and then play Kuma, which heals us, and then we get the heal from Queen, we typically will take a blocker, and then like maybe a 2k or a blocker and like a dead card. That's still 2 extra life, which is really, really good here. So like in this situation, we just got a Brule, which is pretty good. But I'm pretty sure we just misplayed. I think we did just misplay. Because we get the Brule, right? And the next card on top is also a Brule. Now, we have to use Teach's ability. And then we have to put a card from our hand on top of our deck. So what I should have done, so I did not think this out, what I should have done was, I should have used Teach, play Teach on board, or play Perona on board, one or the other, but play Teach, use Teach's skill, give myself my Arrested Dawn, use Teach's ability, put the 0 cost on top of the deck, then play the Kuma down. Then I would have had enough cards in hand, like I still do, to use my leader ability to swing, but at least the 0 cost event would have been at the bottom of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because now, we either put Katakuri or 0 cost on top, and then we swing and we get it back. You know, I just... It is what it is. Misplays were made, but I hope you guys follow that. Like what I was supposed to do there. It's all good. Alright. He's got 1 life left though, at least. And we know we have blockers in our life here that we can utilize to win the matchup next turn. Again, unless he has more rush that we don't know of. 7 lead. I guess we'll go ahead and guard out here. Because he does also have the cards in which makes his attacks unblockable for his laws, so if I decide to take both of these hits just to get blockers on board, thinking I'm safe when he can just be like unblockable, then I'm just cooked, you know? It's like Diable Jambe all over again. There's a Brule that we knew that was there. We'll guard here. So it's 4 Dawn open. Okay. I wonder why he minused the active Dawn. Do you have to minus the active Dawn with Rosinante? So I think he could have minused the Dawn off one of his characters. It's done that? I'm not too sure. I think so, though. 10 here. We'll take the second Brule. Then we'll draw into our Katakuri. And then this turn we won't mess up, right? Because now we can drop Katakuri on board in place of one of the Teaches. Okay, we do this, and then we remove a body on board here. Or you can put this back on top, right? Well, it's too late now. Dang, we just misplayed again. I meant to click bottom. Or sorry, I didn't even mean to click Brule. But oh well. Ooh, that's rough, dude. I wonder if this'll cook us here. I wonder if it will. Because I have this set up. So I think in this situation, yeah, we just put the 0 cost here. Then we swing, we put the 0 cost on life. Then we drop the Katakuri on board. But it's all good, man. We live, we learn. It's fine. Playing Queen for hours will do that to you. You know? Blue decks in a nutshell. It'll be fine. We'll gain a life back. We can do it next turn if we survive. It's okay. We should be able to pressure this, to be fair. He still needs to have a lot of counter in hand, and he only has 1 blocker up. So there's a Beppo. Get a Cavendish. So now we should be able to clear his body on board. But we're going to go 5 here first. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sir? Nice. Well played. I guess it didn't matter there. It was pretty close, though. I made my misplay, you know? We're going to go ahead and skip all this so you guys don't have to watch or listen to our banter here. If this is not entertaining for you guys because we are playing the same matchup, I apologize. We don't typically do this. I promise, we typically don't. We'll play them maybe 1 or 2 games of the same deck if they give us a rematch, and that's normally about it. But, again, we don't normally see Rosinante, we don't normally see Queen, so we're having a little bit of fun here. It's all good, alright? Our hand is not good at all. Oh, so I was right, he is running a whole Supernova package. What is this? Okay. We haven't seen this at all. So it's basically just a searcher. Fair. Our hand is terrible, by the way. I mean, we have late game bodies, but I like to have a 3-cost blocker on my second turn. I don't know what it is. I think it's really good for me. I like how he thinks the 7-cost law kind of sucks too. 5 lead. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take this hit. Darn. I was hoping for a blocker there. Speaking of which, I've also seen some people try to run queen without having brulees and boas. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think you guys need to be running them. At least 4 of one or the other, you know? I do 8. 8 might be a little overkill. It might be a little too much, if you will. But I think that sweet spot from 4 to 6 is probably where you want to be when it comes to your triggers, when it comes to blockers here. Kikinojo, I also didn't touch on that, and I apologize. It's kind of late into the video here to be talking about Kikinojo here as well. She's okay. All right, I haven't really utilized Kikinojo in most of my queen lists, not just this one, but my older ones. I don't believe. I could be wrong, but I feel like she's just a dead card, more so than she's usable here in this matchup. Because in the 4 Dawn turn, if I'm not using Pudding or 3000 Worlds, I don't typically look to play Kikinojo. You know what I mean? If I have one or the other in hand, I'd rather do those. That way I get value, instant value right there. And Pudding is just way too good to pass up for another 4 slot in a deck list, I think. So, she's not pitchable for counter. She's pitchable for the Kuma effect and everything, but I don't know. Maybe she's pretty good here in a queen deck list with Kuma. I haven't really playtested her just yet with Kuma, so it's just we have a lot of bricks in queen, so we need to have Yamato in the end here, I think, because that's 4, 5, that's 7, 8, 9. Okay. So that gives us 2 opportunities. Because we play down Kuma, right? Kuma takes the, what do you call it? The top deck card and put it into life. So that's going to be a blocker. And then we draw into 1. And then we have the Sanji. Law comes down again. I like that Law card. I think it's pretty good. 6 lead. 4 in hand. We're giving him no counters. We don't have anything. There's a Beji. I'll go ahead and actually use Beji on the 3-cost Law. I know it's crazy, but going to 1 is not something I can do right now. Okay, so there's the Kuma that we knew we had. We'll play Kuma down. There's so many choices here, realistically. Gravity Blade is pretty valuable here. Pudding's still pretty valuable, but he only has 4 cards in hand, so I think that's okay. Sure. We obviously knew we're not going to get past the Law. I understand. Okay, there's Law. Does he have it? He does. 5 life. Relax, bro. Chill. Goodness. Okay, 6 lead. We gotta take the hit. There she is. Let's go. We knew that was on top. Remember that? We knew that. Because Kuma. 6 here. Then he's gonna be able to go 5 lead. So at one point, so I guess right now we actually have to go down to 1 life. It's either that or we drop the 0-cost in for a 6k. But we have to go down to 1 life, no matter what here. Oh, there's the Perona. Okay, okay, hold on. Sorry, Perona. We gotta do what we gotta do. As much as I'd love to keep you in hand there. There's a Brulee. That's the one that we also knew that was there. We need to be able to remove these bodies here somehow, because next turn we won't survive. Because we're at 9 Dawn? That's math, right? Is that 9? That's 9. Yeah, no, we're at 8. That's my bad. Okay, so we'll put that on bottom. We'll go 5 here first. Then I run Kuma into that as well. sure. So he takes the hit, or he takes the life for the card on board, which is so cool. This time around, we should be able to get it. Never mind. He has the counter. We might be in trouble. We might be in trouble, boys. You know what's nice? Playing against another deck that isn't green that utilizes Hody Jones. I didn't realize it. I mean, I guess I kind of did realize it, but in a meta where green decks are just prevalent, Hody just tells Queen to sit down, I swear. Because we're just chilling behind our low blockers and everything. He plays Hody down, then we're just like, alright, cool. Because we want to kind of be on low life to be able to heal up and do things. But as soon as that Hody hits the board, the brakes are off, man. The matchup is pretty much over. Because it comes like the following turn, we either play Red Rock to remove it, and then we can't play a body down because he killed one of our big bodies and he rested. It's pretty terrifying. So it's nice not playing into green. It really is. He's going to be able to swing for 9 here as well, so we're going to have to counter here. And then save the law, or sorry, the boa. I don't know why I wanted to call her Bonnie really bad. There's that. 6. We'll counter out here. I think he actually has this game. He might have this one. Because now we have to come back. Because he's at 6 life right now. Which is kind of crazy. And I need to be able to heal here. And we need to be able to remove both bodies on board, or at least one body on board to survive. If I Gravity Blade, we don't have enough cards in hand to heal up with Queen's ability. So perhaps we play down at least one blocker, okay? And then we 3000 Worlds, the other law, and then run everything into the 5 or the 3-drop law. We should be able to clear that, right? Let's go 7 first. She's probably going to take life. Yep. That's cool. So at least the 4-drop law, we should be able to guarantee that one to go away. If we play Sanji, we're definitely cooked. So yeah, we gotta get rid of that. So that gives him 5 attacks next turn. It be what it be, boys. Let's try it. Pop that. We have 6 Dawn left. We need to attach a Dawn to lead to be able to heal this turn. Unfortunate, man. If we had if we had Teach on board, this can be pretty good. So we'll go 8. We'll swing here. I'm sorry. I mean, he's pretty good, isn't he? Definitely a pretty good card. Here goes 8. We'll go 8 to face. This way, maybe he might be obligated to clear one of my bodies here instead of going for face. I'm probably wrong, but he might do it. Because we still have the Brûlée blocker, so he has to get around that. So the other law comes down, this one again. 6 lead. Dang, that sucks, man. We actually gotta take these hits. Because we only can block the other one. We have no counter. There's the Yamato. That's what I wanted to do, is play Sanji into Yamato, but his board got scary. Kuma. Math. So we're dropping Kuma. We're discarding. Doesn't really matter. When we're playing Boa down. Now we can heal up again. Isn't that cool? Isn't Queen's ability amazing? Just give me better support, man. Or give me another Queen leader with a similar ability to this. This is so cool. 6 lead. Go 7 here. Yep, we'll go 8. Put him to 2 life here. Or give me the blocker. Yep. Well, maybe we can hang in there. Maybe we'll get there. If he has any sort of removal whatsoever, I mean, we don't know. It's a possibility. Another blocker law. We've seen his unblockable cards, so I don't know what other events that he's utilizing here. But I'm sure he has some form of removal. It's 5 lead. We gotta take him. Because if we don't, we just get cooked the other way around, right? There's a pudding. Now I'll guard this hit here, just in case the unblockable, which he left up 2 done. Never mind, he used it. 7 lead. Hey, let's go, boys. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. Yellow things doing yellow things. I bet you, though, actually just won us the game. I told you his board was scary. 6. We'll have to give you the boa here. Oh. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, he still had the game anyway. Because he had the other swing. That's my fault. Well played. Don't get mad at me, team. I'm sorry. Alright, I apologize. He wanted to do one more game. I'm sorry. Alright, last one. And then we'll move on to another list. Or another deck. Which is cool. Like, I understand that. Queen's not one of those decks you see. So, we'll do one more here. And that's it. And then we'll change the deck list over to version 2. And we'll dive into a couple games. I don't know how many more we'll play after this. Because I've been talking for... This will probably be like, what, an hour? Give or take, just straight. So, and we've only played against Rosinante, which is unfortunate. But hopefully you guys had fun here. This ain't too bad. This ain't too bad. We do get the boa here on 3, which I love to see. Boa or Brule, which is pretty good. We have the removal for the 4-drop law immediately. Just get that out of the way. Okay. Rosinante. So we got his search, which is his second game in a row getting search off the rip. So that's pretty good. That's it. Cool. There's the boa. Let's go 5 lead. And then we'll play down boa. Take the hit. Thank you. No trigger. Cool. Ooh, man. Playing Teach over boa here. Nah, let's play Heron Curve. I know that's weird, but we still have plenty of time to get Teach on board. Not next turn, though, because we're going to want to remove whatever he plays here. Or we might pudding next turn, actually. Okay. Sure. 6. He's got 7 in hand. I don't know if that's worthy of a 3,000 Worlds. I don't think so. But this is. Let's go 6 lead. Pudding's probably really, really good in this matchup. There's the Beppo. Put him the 4 cards right there. Crazy. We don't have to deal with that, which is nice. Someone has to see Beppo on board, I hope. Law does have the heal, which is in a Rouge. So, it's 5 lead. We either give the blocker or not. Actually, let's take this hit. If not, we're just going to give him the Perona. There's another Teach. Get rid of that one. Another pudding here. 7. We need to try to remove that if possible. But I want to have Teach on board at some point. 5. Yeah, we need the Kumo on board here. At least I think so. Because we get the heal up, right? And next turn he probably puts us to 1. If anything. Can I have cards out of hand, please? Pretty please? Yep. It's 1 law. Let's go 5 again. And no, I couldn't play Kuma down, then attach down and swing. I have too many cards in hand here, so this is why I try to do it this way to get cards out of his hand instead of going for face. I felt like if we would have went face, he's probably obligated just to take those hits because his hands is pretty low. Let's play Teach now. We'll pass it over. I wanted that body gone, man. I did. I wanted that body gone. I'm not necessarily in any danger when I'm able to remove the body plus getting cards out of hand there. That was pretty good for me. 5 here. I mean, you got it. Okay, so there's that. Nine lead. Go to 1, which isn't great. 9 here, we'll guard out. I think we're in a good spot now, actually. Yeah, fantastic, to be fair. Because if we take this hit, right, then we have ways of putting the 0 cost in life. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This turn, we have 9 Sanji. We know what's coming up next. Okay. Okay. Hold up. Let me cook. Because we're putting cards on top right now, right? And we have to be able to... We have to be able to heal here as well. I think. Double 0 cost events. Ooh, I've already messed up. I think I already messed up. I wish I could unselect that card, actually, to be fair. Darn it, man. Oh well. I guess we'll just do Gravity Tiger. Okay. So we're at 7 in hand here. We have 2 blockers on board. We're fine. So I think at this point we've seen a lot of his deck list. He doesn't typically... He hasn't drawn into removal. I don't know if he's not running it, or he doesn't have any God Threads, or he doesn't have any Ragnaroks. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen a Zeus yet, so I think we're okay. We have plenty of counter in hand here if he decides to try to go for game, or finds a way to do it, because he does have access to the unblockable, right? So that could be a pretty hefty law swing. So maybe we risk that a lot by playing the Sanji down. Maybe that was a huge risk. But I'm betting that we can get away with it. So we've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7k counter in hand with 2 blockers on board. No, actually, I think if he had the unblockable and he gave it to his law, I think he won the game. If he had it. So I definitely think I misplayed here by playing the Sanji into the Nami, and I probably should have just done it the other way around there with the Kuma. You know what I mean? We would have put... Yeah, we'd have put Nami on top of life and had the 0 cost on the bottom with the teachability. I think that's probably how we should have done it. But nonetheless, I think we played well. We should still be able to come back and sustain here. We don't need to play Yamato here either. We need to have Kuma down, that way we can heal twice. We can pitch this. I'd rather have the counter in hand. Okay. So how do we heal, right? We play Hiyori down. We play the Hiyori, we take that life, we put the 0 cost there. Let's search. Just in case, right? Okay, so there's the second one. I didn't remember where it went. It's actually pretty good here. We'll leave it. Let's leave it like... This'll work. That's fine. Because we can kick the Katakuri on life, or sorry, on board, if we survive that long. We have the 0 cost here. That doesn't necessarily matter, because we're going to put a 0 cost anyway. That's fine. Do it like that. Okay, let's do teach. Up. Well. No, this works, right? This is fine. No, it's not. Is it? No, yeah, no, it's not. I should have went 8. I should have went 8 lead. Because we're going to put the 0 cost in life, right? Cool. We're going to put it there. But I should have went 8. Because that way we had 2 Dawn floating over. If we went 8, we have 2 Dawn left. That way we can play Hiyori down over top of the Perona, and then take the life from the bottom. And then the 0 cost goes to the bottom. You know what I mean? but it's okay. We're still fine. Yep. He's got 2 cards here, 3 swings this turn. I'm not worried about unblockable now, because we're chilling. We have 5k counter in hand. Plays down another blockable law. So where do you go from here? Sanji, okay. That's 3 blockers we gotta get over. And we know we have a gravity blade. 0 cost. Like, we know this is a gravity blade here. Yep. Take this one. And if we trigger this, we just remove what? Sanji? Nah, we'll hold on to it. Sorry about the dog. Because we remove both bodies here. Then we can do the thing, put the 0 cost there, that we were supposed to do last turn. We go 7 lead here, gain life, boom. 0 cost event. It's pretty good. Okay. He did have the unblockable there, got off trigger, which is kind of crazy. Let's go 5 here. Just get the poke off. Or 6. Math is hard. Nice. And good game, buddy. Well played. I think. Yeah, we got it. No chance, right? Good job, man. Oh, he's also running 2-cost Capone. Interesting. Very well played, man. I do hope if you end up seeing these videos, it was a lot of fun playing against you. It's going to be a very, very long video, that's for sure. But enjoy your day. Thanks for playing with me. Let's dive into another one, guys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into another game. Come at you guys with Queen playing into Nami in OP12. This is the 2nd iteration of the build. So I do hope you guys are going to be excited for this one, let alone we played a lot of games into that Rosinante. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I do hope you guys at least enjoy it or will enjoy this video because you guys are seeing Queen in action, having a good time. But I digress. Nami, tough matchup. She's able to remove a lot of my cheap blockers on board with her 8-cost Luffy, Zeus's, 5-cost Nami. She has a lot of ways of removal, you know? Gravity blades, red rocks. I don't really get to stick a lot of bodies on board in this matchup if she sees the pieces, which she typically is able to do with the amount of times that she's able to draw here. So, we do have pudding though, which is nice. Alright, so we're on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Kuma, Yamato heals me, gives me the 0-cost event if we get down that far. So I think we're pretty good here. That was a pretty nice setup. Go 5, pass turn. So we're going to drop Kuma next turn. What's this one? Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is the replacement for Teach. That's a really good card. Kikinojo. Chill, man. Relax. You got it. Put this on life. Or sorry, not on life. Put this on board. I guess she really wanted that extra card draw there. 7 in hand. It'd be a shame, wouldn't it? It would be a shame if she got pudding. What we got here? Nami. Not bad, not bad. You know what? We'll put that back, actually. We're going to play pudding here. Then we'll swing here for 6. I think she's going to counter out, so let's go ahead and do this first. Then we'll swing for 6. That was pretty good. Imagine if we played Kuma there and she had a red rock in hand. Oh, she did have a red rock. Oh wait, never mind. That's from the pudding. My fault, my fault. It's fine. 8. Luffy play. Odin. Oh, that's right. I forgot. The sim has access to SS22, which I keep forgetting. Because I keep running into decks with the PRB things like I mentioned, and it has no way of just OP12 only, you know what I mean? Instead it incorporates everything, so. And we still don't have those decks or have PRB for a little bit long. Not a little bit long, but for a little bit longer, at the very least, I think. Anyway, 6 here. Get rid of that. Odin is pretty scary. I didn't think about Odin here for Queen. Maybe that'd be pretty viable. Maybe. I doubt it. Nah, I doubt it. I think if it was an 8 cost, then yeah. But considering it's a 7 and it has to spend the Dawn, and we need to have another big body on board for Queen to use this stuff, probably not. But it's definitely worth testing. We could play Kuma here. Or we can just go pretty heavy into swings. She's at 2 life. This is probably safer. Get rid of the Perona or the Hiyori. We'll discard the Yamato here. As much as this might be a bad idea, but it's okay. It'll work out. We'll get a 2K from her. Give me another red rock, please. Okay, that'll do. We'll pass it over. Alright, so next turn we're going to have to be a little bit aggressive here with our puddings. I think. Depending on what we draw. Because Odin might be a problem here. She still has access to like the 8 cost Luffy, so that's still an issue. Because that can come down and bounce the Brûlée back to my hand. Okay, or she can do that. That's cool. I guess she still could play Luffy here too. Or Kid. 9 lead. I mean, I have no choice now, huh? Because she's going to restand this for 3 Dawn. She's got 8 left. Or 7 left, sorry. Draws free card. Restands for 3, I'd assume. Maybe? Maybe not? I think that's the rested Dawn. Yep. 4 left. Plays Nami back down. Bounces that back up with the Odin. That effect is so cool. So you rest 3 and you bounce one of your 1-drop characters, or bounce one of your characters back to your hand. Which is pretty cool. I really like that. So Nami got double rested Dawn there. Swings for 8. Leaves 1 Dawn open. For what reason, I'm not too sure. Maybe she's going to attach at the Odin and swing for 10? So we're going to have to protect one of these turns. Because that'll go for 9. It'll go for... Yeah, we'll guard this one here. It just feels awkward because we have to give her 10k, you know? You got it. There's the Nami from earlier, which we can't utilize now. I was trying to save it for a like a blocker, but she was smart. She played Law down afterwards, so. But we still have Yamato here, so we'll pop that, and then we can do 6 to lead. We'll gain an extra life. So far, so good. She'll give me a 2k. Then we cannot swing with puddings, unfortunately, but we can still swing with Kuma here. And I think swinging with Kuma is worth it, because if she wants to pop it, she heals me again. It's a 2nd red rock. Go 7 here. And a Veggie. Awkward. Or we'll pass it over here. And there's no way she doesn't clear Kuma, right? Because I think he's pretty threatening. Oh. Okay. Alright. You love to see it, but at the same time you hate to see it. Here goes our Rusted Dawn. She's got 3 left to restand Odin, so Odin's going to be swinging for 9, and she's going to swing for 6, I think. Oh, she didn't attach anything. Interesting. Yeah, there's no point of guarding here. You got it. We'll get the extra life. Yep. Bounces that back to hands. Attaches the Dawn. Goes 7. There's the Veggie. Bro, she ain't gonna swing with that. Because she swings, we just clap it with Yamato. We know what's in her hand. So we won't use it. Yeah, I didn't think so. There's the Sanji. Unlucky. Dang, that might have been pretty bad. Well, I guess we couldn't have played... Well, we could have played the Nami, right? Yeah, we could have played the Nami and popped the Nojiko or Zeus, draw an extra card, but I don't think that's relevant there. At least this way we have another big body on board, I guess. Okay, she can't swing. Pass it over. Unfortunate. That's crazy. I got a Veggie and she got a Veggie, like back to back. Pretty scary matchup here. Okay. Sure. Get your rested Dawn. Go for it. Yep. That's a terrifying card, man. Odin is so good. I don't remember what this was. Doflamingo. I actually don't think we got to see this far in the deck. So, I think at this point... Yeah. Since the previous turn, everything since then has been to Fate. So... Odin, I'd appreciate you put on pants, man. It's crazy. 7 lead. And then she's got... Odin can swing again. Just in case. Because that could be like a rush ace or something. 5 Dawn open. It could be, very well. I've seen some Nami lists that have been utilizing it. It does pretty well. It's pretty aggressive. What are we doing here? What are you thinking about? Blockers, probably? If we're not playing another rush body, I'm assuming it's a blocker. 6 lead. I'll give you the 2. What do you want? Yep. Kikinojo. Another blocker. I think we're good here to try to go for game. I think. Let's play Dofi first in place of the Perona. Nice. Okay. This is actually really, really good for us because we have double blocker that we can put on top. So we get to heal up, and then we're going to kick Yamato. Yamato will heal the Boa. Then we have Katakuri for the end. If we make it that far. Let's go 5 here first. Then we'll swing 7, I think. 7 with Pudding. So is that what, 3 Dawn? Yeah, 3 Dawn. Then we can go 8 with Queen. And I think at that point we should be able to win the game here. Unless she gets a 0 cost or a Veggie in life. There we go. Well, she does have 1 blocker up though. We can't fumble, right? We got this. Unless she has a counter here. We'll heal up. So that's a blocker. Top of our life there again. Yeah, she got the 2k. Alright, fair. We'll put her at least to 0 here. Give me the law. And thank you. We'll pass it over. Okay. She could potentially still win though. So what she drops, a Nojiko here, bounces Dofi back to my hand, and I have 3k counter, right? Odin can swing twice. Okay, that's pretty good. Never mind. But now you can't restand Odin though. Wouldn't it have been better if she had Nojiko there? If she had it. She plays that down, bounces Doflamingo. Has 8 Dawn left. Attaches a rested Dawn to Nami. Odin swings, restands, swings. Then she's got Leader, Kikinojo, and Kuma left. So that's 5 hits. And we had 3 life. To the first life was the blocker though, right? Was the Brûlée. Yeah, perhaps she would have won if she had Nojiko. Perhaps. Because now I don't think she can. Yeah, that's fine. Good game. Well played. Boom. Did she have it or no? Let's go 15. And just to heal 1, you know? Just in case, you know? Just in case. Want my extra life. Thank you. Did she have Nojiko? Okay, cool. Well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last game of the day. I'm sorry my voice is spent. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, at least thus far. I'm sorry you only got to see a bunch of Rosinante games. We played against Nami, Luffy, and we will be diving back into this list here in the future in OP12 as well, because I do have some other things I want to play test here with Queen. So look forward to that. This is one of those leaders in which you guys don't see a lot. Just in general, like on the channel here, I think we have maybe, this will probably be like, what, the third or the fourth queen variation, maybe, give or take. When it comes to other content creators, you're not seeing queen at all, period. Like, you don't see this leader. I don't know what it is. I think everyone and their brother is just so used to playing meta decks. I mean, that's cool, man. That's fine. You know, it's part of the game. So, hopefully one day queen gets some support. Maybe, if that. Anyway, we're gonna dive into this matchup here with queen playing into green-purple Luffy. Now, I do think, however, once these new ban waves go through, and they're pretty good, and they hurt Luffy decks, I think a lot of other decks in the format that are currently meta, and then decks that are currently not meta, could perhaps be meta or do better. You know what I mean? I do think a lot of these Luffy variations are kind of holding a lot of stuff back. And that's not to say off meta decks, you know, but that's also to say current meta decks, you know what I mean? Have a much better chance or in a much better spot if these ban waves are very, very good. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. Unfortunately, though, Sanji P is a problem. And we might have to tech in the, what is it, the Red Hawk? The yellow cost 1-drop event? That might be pretty good here in Queen. At least early game. And I think into the late game, you don't necessarily have the Dawn to spend for it. So perhaps in the early game, we might be able to utilize it a little bit better. I mean, it is only it's only a 1 cost, you know, for a counter. But I'll have to play test a little bit more later on with a variation of Queen. So we'll see. Let's go 6 lead here. And this is the time where, like, I really need to see Pudding. This is one of the matchups in which Luffy typically takes a lot of early game hits. And he has so many searches. Zoro. Interesting. Okay. Well, there's not a whole lot we can do here because I can't pop that because you got the stage on curve. So, let's try this out. Let's put Nami there. Let's go and play Boa down. We'll pass it over. Perhaps... we need to swing here first. But perhaps he won't use stage right away. And he'll end up swinging with leader or what have you. We can play Nami out of that and pop the Sanji. I doubt it, but maybe. He's on 7 here. Yep, Luffy Taro comes down. Another Sanji P. Yeah. I think we've all seen this before. 4 Dawn. Okay, so at least we get to pop one of them here. Which is nice. I don't know if it matters, but it's still nice. Go 7, oh, 8 into this. Okay. I mean, yeah, sure, you got it. So you got 3 Dawn open, which I imagine that's going to be for events, or he plays down a Frankie or another Searcher here, so we'll just let this go. Swing face, please. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and pop the other one. I'll get rid of a Boa. We'll kill this. We'll draw another card. Doflamingo. Might be a little late here. Because I need to start seeing the late game pieces. I need to start seeing Kumas. They'll probably keep me alive here. Katakuri is not bad. Yeah, Katakuri is not bad. We won't be able to heal this turn, unfortunately, but... yeah, so I guess we play Katakuri. We'll go ahead and bottom deck the Sanji P. I think that's the best choice. We'll put that there. I don't know if this is alright. I don't think that's okay. I think we'd much better go for 6. Because perhaps if we go higher, he just takes the hit. Maybe he's obligated here to guard out because it's a little bit easier for him to do so here. It's probably like the wrong way to think about it, but... yeah, because we're just going to draw back into the same card for the following turn. Which isn't the best. Let's go 6 here. Okay, he takes the hit anyway. Sure. I need a Pudding. Please, give me a Pudding. There's a Zorojoro. So you get another Sanji P. Watch. Calling it out. Oh, okay, Nico Robin. Sure. Unlucky. Okay, there's Frankie. So he's got a 9k swing with Luffy Taro, I assume. I mean, we got one blocker up. Still a little bit spooky, this matchup, though. I think I have to see a Gravity Blade or something for removal here when it comes to the Zoro and the Frankie over there. And then I still need a Pudding. Because one of these hits I have to take. So we have to guard one, then we have to take the other one. There's a Pudding. Nice. Way too late, though, but still. I mean, your boy's got 3 Dawn open over there. We'll guard out. So now we can play Pudding and Doflamingo here. And then set up life. In hopes that we get something pretty decent here on top. Please. Don't let me down. I mean, it's kind of not bad. 2 veggies back to back. That's kind of okay, right? The downside is I cannot heal this turn. I don't think. Because we're at 7 Dawn. I need to empty 3 cards out of my hand, and we don't have a way of doing that. So that means I have to play Pudding and Brulee and have 1 more Dawn. Man, that sucks. What else could replace the 3-drop, though? I know there's a 2-drop that does it. I can't remember what the card's called. I think there's a 2-drop that allows you to search things. He's a blue. He's a very, very cheap blocker, right? What's his name? It's part of the Fish Riders. I forgot his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I probably should try utilizing that here as well. Because I think if we had that over the Doflamingo there, we'd have been cooking, right? Because it would have been a 2 cost. We'd have 1 Dawn open. That way we could play down Brulee here and still have the attachment. But the only other option that we have here is Teach. So if we didn't have Teach, we wouldn't be able to get this far. And we're still not putting anything good here in life to heal up. But at least it's cushioning us just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's go 7 here. We'll gain a life again. We got 2 blockers. Sure. I guess we'll just go face, right? I imagine if we don't go face and we're able to win the game, and we might lose because he still has 1 extra life. I don't know. Maybe going Luffy Taro was the correct play there. But we'll see. Until he Usops me. Plays Uso Hachi, then rests the blocker, and I'm just like, alright, cool, you got it. Yamato. I didn't want to go to 0 cards as much as I wanted to, you know, just protect myself there. Guard out here. Okay, so there's the Luffy. Doesn't have the Sanji P though, which is nice, but he still has the Dawn. 7. We'll give you the 0 cost. He still has 3 attacks. Please. Alright, we lose. It be what it be, man. We tried. We tried our best. Very good game. Yep. Well played. If only. That was really close, man. Why do you too? Grumpy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the end of the video, in which today we played around with Queen. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me, as it always is with this leader. Unfortunately, he is not a meta-defining leader by any means, so you do have some rough matchups out there. When I say some, I mean a lot. So, until that new ban wave comes out, and we see what cards are going to be banned for the future, perhaps a lot of these off-meta leaders are going to have a hard time into OP12, especially when they have to deal with decks like Zoro that's coming out. And then you still have every Luffy variation under the sun doing very, very well. Law's doing very well. There's a lot of very strong green decks and just decks in general in which just sweep off meta decks under the rug. But then there are some decks out there in which do quite well because people don't know how to play into them, you know, i.e. King, for example. But I digress. Today we played around with Queen. This is my variation, or one of my variations that you guys got to see here today on the channel. Mainly you got to see this one a lot. And then my variation 2, we played like a couple games. We didn't play too many. My voice is already shot. I'm sorry, I love y'all. But this is my variation 2, in which I do want to touch back in on this list. And you guys will be getting another Queen video here in the future very soon. But there's another character here that's a 2-cost blocker, I believe. Yeah, this is the guy, Duval. I might try to play around with this because I feel like having another character that I can drop down at 2 costs other than Teach, that also allows you to organize, is very, very good here in the early game. This might allow me to do a lot of plays here in which I wasn't able to do just by relying on Doflamingo or relying on X-Drake. But that's just something I've been thinking about, because there are certain turns where I need to have at least one Don left over after playing maybe 3 or 4 bodies on board, if possible. Because there are certain situations where I can play down the Kuma, discard a card, then heal a life, and then I could go ahead and play Teach's ability and put a 0 cost, on board, or sorry, on life. There's just a lot of plays that you can do in Queen, and I don't see why I cannot fit in a Duval to be able to make them more consistent, but that's just for a whole nother video. Now, there are some other cards here that I very much love playing in Queen, and that's going to be the 7-drop Mom. I touched on this a little bit in the intro, I think. I think so. But the reason why we aren't running her this time around is because we're playing around with a 6-drop Kuma, and I feel like he's a lot more consistent. Definitely when he's able to discard cards and heal you, whereas Big Mom cannot. The downside to this is, or the upside to this is, you can basically rip life from your opponent. But when you set up your deck here with Doflamingo, with X-Drake, with Duval, with Perona, if your opponent decides to heal you, you mess up that whole curve, right? You mess it all up just by them healing you. Sometimes your opponent probably doesn't realize that, but they also don't want to burn their life. But at the same time, when they heal you, you're like, great, cool, I got the heal. But then, when you want to play down that Sanji, you're probably kicking like a Hiyori on board. You're going to kick like a Perona on board. You know what I mean? In any case, this has been Queen for the day. I do hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And good luck on your pre-release. So I do hope you guys get a bunch of cool cards. I probably won't, but I'm going to try my best. Either way, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to hit that like button so we get these videos floating around, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all later.